Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And as the dust settles from the Huke video of just a few days ago, there's been a lot of speculation as to who might be the next player to admit to some degree of animal abuse here within the CDL. The best team in the game, of course, has been targeted, but the FaZe guys have vehemently denied the accusations over these past couple of days. Enjoy taking your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I greatly appreciate it. Already outside the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, with the Euro 2020s finally starting, thought this is a funny football-related gif to start off the video with, kind of summing up OpTic season as B-Sport Josh says right here. I'm sure some of you guys know what your boy is saying right here. It kind of makes sense actually, all things considered, with OpTic season so far, but they do have a massive series on Sunday up against the Los Angeles Thieves. The Slasher says, damn that hurt, but to be fair, he was actually fine. He had a 1.43 in the series, had a 2.88 KD in that game 4, so good to see him back in the league certainly, and honestly, a Slasher or back on LAN, I don't know, I'm just excited to see how that one does develop. I'd love to get like a really blockbuster matchup, like an OpTic versus Thieves, OpTic versus Dallas, OpTic versus FaZe even, who knows, in a LAN environment once again in, well, just a few days time. This also was kind of interesting. Courage yesterday was co-casting, or well, he was just casting the LA Thieves match on his stream, so finally, well, trying to leverage maybe the CDL, this whole co-streaming relationship thing. Maybe next season, like the YouTube deal ends, and then they can start doing this type of stuff on Twitch as well, because it's been hugely successful for other esports. I'm sure the CDL want to tap into something like this if they have any idea what they are doing. This is some of the potential. Now, honestly, the tiebreaker scenarios are so incredible, like so complicated, because like if 3 teams are tied, it comes down to the head-to-head map count within those 3 teams. So it generally comes down to exactly what map count precisely happens within these upcoming matches. So you can go into an incredible deal of granularity here, but effectively the casters were saying yesterday that Thieves were locked out of the winners bracket after losing that series. That does not seem to be the case. If they beat Chicago and Seattle win, they should qualify. They really need to beat Chicago pretty handily to give themselves a great chance of doing so. Otherwise, they'll be down here in losers bracket most certainly. OpTic can certainly still make it if they win and Atlanta win, if they win and Minnesota win today in that series, and the OpTic play LA Thieves on Sunday, then they will still qualify regardless, and they can also maybe still qualify with a loss in certain situations. It gets somewhat complicated. It's also incredibly complicated in the other group as well. I just really want to wait to see how some of these matches progress and see what the CDL actually have to say on stream, because they have guys working on this behind the scenes that should know exactly what is going on right here. But still, it seems like it is possible for that to happen. And as Tom Rhinoga 2 says right here, after double checking, Dallas has to 3-0 us for Florida not to be able to make the winners bracket. So regardless of what happens between Subliners and Toronto, I think Florida will win or Florida will get top 3 as long as they don't get 3-0'd by the Dallas Empire later today. So there's some big implications of today's matches, most certainly, that we will talk about here in a couple of minutes time. Huke says this yesterday after they lost to Minnesota. GG's to Minnesota. We go again on Sunday. Still a big match. I was kind of hoping that when they were saying that LA Thieves couldn't make winners, that like they would win the game for over 11, so that at least we had a matchup that it was effectively for the 3rd seed. But still, Sunday's game between OpTic and Thieves is, well, it does carry some great implications, it does seem. Thought this is funny as well before we go on to the next game from FaZe with I didn't really get, well, when I first saw this I wasn't sure what he was getting at, but of course like Huke's hair right now coming down over his eyes, I don't really know how he sees anything. I guess this is what he sees on the screen here at the bottom, but yeah, I don't know, maybe he needs a headband or something, like a headband Ken used to be fried back in the day, so maybe he could go down a similar route right here. Not sure how he makes this work, but of course, speaking of Huke, this came out, it really was one of the big blockbuster things that's happened so far this season. There's been a lot of crazy stuff, but Huke came out a few days ago with this 32-minute video. We looked at it in some more detail yesterday, but the main topic that a lot of people were looking at from I suppose a casual sports audience perspective was the fact that effectively admitting to using Adderall at the last year's World Championship, you know, performance-enhancing drug, however exactly you want to look at it. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about this, right? The fact that for so many years, right, we've known that a lot of players are doing this, and, well, it's never really come to the public attention, right? And there's been plenty of discussion the last couple of days, the fact that Slasher and other players at the start of the, you know, the official CDL were like, look, this is an issue, players are abusing this, you need to find a way to deal with this. Now, of course, going online has made it pretty much impossible to do drug testing or whatever, and, well, when LAN does come back, I'm sure they've got to be seriously thinking about this, right? And obviously they weren't thinking about it for the start of the Modern Warfare season, given nothing really got done about it. Now, look, Huke is the reigning world champion, right, on the Dallas Empire team of last season, now, of course, over at Los Angeles Thieves, admitting to doing something like this is, well, probably indicative of a much wider problem, which has been affecting a number of our pro players within the league. Now, no one else has come out as a result of this and said, look, okay, yeah, I also did Addy last year or whatever. I mean, Morks did say it, but he's no longer currently in the pro league, right? So, you know, no one else has come out and said something quite similar, which I understand, right? Because if I was a pro player that maybe did it last year or whatever, I wouldn't want to say anything because the CDL might just come out and just straight say, okay, yeah, well, you're suspended for breaking the rules, because you're not allowed to do that in the rules, obviously. It's just they don't particularly enforce it. So, like, it's kind of crazy that the fact that Huke came out and said this to me, like, I do wonder if he will suffer any repercussions, right? I wonder what the CDL's trying to do behind the scenes, because it's obvious a couple of days ago trying to shut down the flank effectively from them talking about it, that they were kind of, well, seeing exactly how they wanted to respond and doing some degree of damage control, right? And I guess they'll come up with some sort of statement in the coming days, because this is obviously some pretty serious stuff. Now, of course, a lot of people have been looking at this whole Huke thing and saying, okay, well, finally, it's come out to the surface. Now it's time to go after all the other players that may potentially be doing this, as Crone says right here. Huke speaking about Addy abuse is amazing for our community and the future of our league. When I certainly agree with this, right? The fact that this is being exposed is great because, you know, we want the utmost for the health of our players. And Huke has been saying in this video to some degree the fact that, yeah, like he felt like he was really changing his personality, abusing this struggle at the time. He was becoming more angry at his teammates, his family. He was becoming different to himself, and he's felt much better since he's been off it, which is obviously great to hear. But let's not ruin it by accusing every second player of using Addy when we do not have a clue who is on it or not. Now, there's some players, of course, over time, you can, for example, like Slasher and, of course, the Red Reserve guys back in the World War II days that were very vocal about it, and other players not so vocal, right? So maybe you can look into that and see, okay, which players may not have been abusing it, which players maybe were, but of course, it's pretty much impossible to say, right? And a lot of the replies have been, yes, FaZe are the best team at the game right now, therefore they're probably going to get the highest amount of accusations, the fact that they must be on something like this if they are indeed so good. And as Rokkr says, that's Simp's girlfriend, reading all the comments accusing my boyfriend, just drug test. I'm actually begging at this point, take hair samples to test if needed. Like, I'm very frustrated about these accusations that are coming out. And I mean, this actually came out that I found from last year in February 2020, when aBeZy said, look, I can promise you no one on our team takes it, when there was some discussion actually at the time that Killer had dropped an Addy bomb, as Deserted Mike says right here, on the Washington Post, and Austin/Elgato at the time, just waiting for the day they do something about it. Would love to be on an even playing field for once, says Slasher. So yeah, this was some of the discussion at the time. There was also some discussion I'll share with you guys here on the flank a couple of weeks ago actually now, when it was Clayster talking about the fact that Simp, like, he's obviously, Clayster won a world championship with Simp and aBeZy, saying that he's actually one of the cleanest players in the entire league. So I'll share that with you guys now.
Sip on it. You don't tug game fuels, you just sip them.
That guy barely takes any caffeine. Like, dude, those dudes clean as bro, and they be...
Wait, who?
Simp, Chris.
Simp? That guy's caffeined out of his mind.
Does he get caffeined out of his mind now?
Yeah, no, wait, Simp?
When I play with him, he would drink like a one game fuel, you know?
Really? I thought that guy was cracked on caffeine. I thought he would go crazy.
Chris gets coffee, I think. I don't know if he's a lot of caffeine.
This year I've switched to the coffee wave, and man, that's amazing. Coffee is unreal.
Yeah, the coffee's good.
A lot of the MC gimmick.
And Coke.
Yeah, hold on. Everyone's saying in the chat you're completely 100% false.
Yeah.
Christopher Simp is one of the cleanest players in the league in terms of everything, bro. I hate that whole stigma, bro.
In terms of, let's just say how it is. Adderall. You guys keep spamming Adderall in the chat. Simp is not on Adderall. I know that. Now, we don't know what the going on in the league.
Kid's a good kid. Why are you saying he takes drugs? Like, what the is wrong with you guys?
Because when people are really good, I mean, that's what everybody says. When somebody fries or they're like cracked because they're drinking caffeine, everybody just wants to accuse them of taking Adderall.
Brother, we're staring at a screen, like, calling out at 1,000,000 miles a minute, brother.
Oh, give me a fucking break with these assholes. Look at his pupils. Shut up. Shut the f up. You guys don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I mean, Tomas, you know, when it's game time, like, your brain just goes into another level of focus where, like, you just don't care about anything but the game, and that's why you're just hella focused. And
bro,
that's why
do you know how many
every game on their player cam looks like they're just wired, because they are. They're just hella focused on the match.
Everybody's gone through it, man. There's series where I'm just, all I drink was water or caffeine, some game fuel, and people were like, Zuma's on Adderall, because my eyes were just wide open, like super focused, and I'm like, dude, guys, like, come on, what are you, a doctor these days? You're looking at pupils through a 720p screen. Give me a break.
And as Simp says right here, I gotta stop using the competitive Reddit. I cannot believe some of the stuff I read, because a lot of accusations were coming out against Simp and his team and over these last several days. Now, of course, we really have no idea on what's going on and who's using it and who's not using it, but if Clayster, his former teammates, coming out and saying, look, he's a totally clean player, he's totally sober, then we have, no reason not to believe that situation. Certainly an innocent till proven guilty stuff, but it's pretty impossible to prove at this point, unless you're someone like Huke that just comes out and says, yeah, look, I actually was abusing it, and taking the consequences, whatever they may indeed be. be. And a Simp says in reply right here, you know, just drinks like one at most game fuels every single day. And a Slasher said, look, I've been calling for something to be done since 2013. All natural, brother. Just wish I could have played against some of these people sober. They probably would have been visually shaken on stage a lot. To be honest, glad Kyler spoke on the issue. So how will this develop? Who really knows? I wonder if anything will happen with this Huke situation, or whether any other players will come out and say they found themselves in a similar boat. I know that Zero was talking about it, right, that a few years ago, like pre-Black Ops 3, he was using Adderall at events, and then he got off it and had one of his best years, or his best year in Infinite Warfare competitively. So certainly something that you don't need to do. I think a lot of players, a lot of amateur players, feel like they need to just get cracked or whatever, you know, to whatever extent that they might have to feel like they have to do so. But it certainly is far from necessary. We see the players talking about it in that clip right there, and it carries some significant side effects as well, most certainly. So, you know, I'll just be keeping my eyes on this topic as it develops going forwards, because I don't think this is the last we're going to be talking about this situation. Let's talk about then the games for today. So 3 matches, big implications here. First of all, LAG versus Ravens. Who really cares? I don't really know if I have more to say on that one. FaZe versus Rokkr though is the game 2. This is a massive game because this is for the first seed in Group A between FaZe and Rokkr. So if Rokkr win this because they have the tiebreaker over FaZe and both teams will be 4-1, then Rokkr actually get the first seed. That would be massive for them. We've seen a lot of the times the team that does get the first seed has a great chance of running through the winners bracket. It's happened to FaZe a fair bit already right here. But if FaZe do win, as I expect them to, I think they'll get through this 3-1, if not 3-2. They've just been looking way too good as of late. Then they, of course, put themselves in a prime position once again to, well, roll through the major and win another one, right? They've been in the grand finals of every single major. Here, this is one that's going to be on LAN, so really exciting stuff, to be honest. I mean, like, this is the thing. We're going to have some serious discussions about how good this FaZe team actually is compared to other teams throughout history. If they, like, win stage 4, win stage 5, win chavs, I don't know, even if they make the grand finals of all 3. There's a lot of discussion on where this team ranks already in terms of the best Call of Duty rosters that have ever been put together. And, well, obviously they're looking to try and repeat the trick here into stage 4. The final game, also very important, Dallas versus the Florida Mutineers. So this match is, well, obviously a lot's on the line right here. Dallas need to win this one to get into the winners bracket. If Florida lose, they can still make it, but I think that would be maybe Toronto would fall out. So it could get kind of crazy up there, actually. Toronto basically need to beat New York Subliners to guarantee themselves a 3rd spot, and the Mutineers kind of want to win here as well. So Dallas, I think, have a tough time on their hands getting to the winners bracket, but if they win here convincingly, then they can do so. But I certainly don't think they're favourites here. To be honest, with how Mutineers have been looking as of late, probably Florida should come in as slight favourites here, but Envoy did look much better the other day with Vivid on their team. Intrigued to take your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.